Hi, this is Zach Meir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Wednesday, the 29th of October. Starting with the FTSE 100, which has exceeded expectations, at least in terms of the time frame, perhaps even the number it's at the moment, through 97.50. We were looking for the 96.80 area. Above that, then up to the red resistance line projection there from back in May, as high as 98.30. That was supposed to be for the end of next month, but the way things are going, this market seems to want to do this by Friday, actually. So quite an amazing push there. Probably time to upgrade the upside there, obviously thinking of the 10,000 level maybe by Christmas. On the downside, expecting this market to head up to the 98.30 level while we're above the top of the channel there around 96.70. And we also had that old 95.77 high from the beginning of this month as potential support, but ideally now we stay on the right side of 9700 ahead of 98.30 plus. DAX is next, and this has been rather dead in the recent past. Maybe it's going to change its groove sooner rather than later, but it's still managing to stay in that rather weird range between the 50-day line there, 24,000, just below that, and the top of the recent range, 24,400. Waiting for an end-of-day close outside that range to then get this market up to potentially 26,000 by the end of next month. Worst case at the moment is the 50-day line, but I suppose you could say that the floor of the channel there, 23,600, could be a rug pull destination if we don't head higher that quickly. Next on the list is the Dow, and here not far off our target at the top of that May 2024 price channel, 48,400, let's call that. So very, very close to that. We were looking for that by the end of next month, but this has been rather unusual October in the sense that the market has actually gathered positive momentum, and we'll probably be looking to upgrade that target there at 48,400 pretty soon, given the performance at the moment. Upside value while we're holding above the 47,200 recent resistance. The cryptos are next, and I suppose if it's risk off on the stock market, then it could be risk on rather on the stock market. It could be risk on for cryptos, but slightly disappointing here. We've double topped there for Bitcoin around 116. We still want an end of day close through that to give us a chance of heading to the top of that channel at 130 by the end of next month as a best case scenario target. On the downside, hoping that the floor of the channel there from back in the March time, around 104, would be the absolute limit of the downside, as it was mid-October. Otherwise, maybe the 200-day line at 109 will be potential support if we do not head higher directly from here. RSI just about the neutral 50 level, so glass half full at the moment. Ethereum is next, and here we've got a situation where we're between the uptrend line there from April, which is around 38.40, and the 50-day moving average at 42.23. Looking for an end-of-day close outside those parameters to give us, at least on the upside, a move up to 46.40 and the top of that falling trend channel from August. Worst case on the downside at the moment expected to be the floor of that channel, currently towards 3,500, but not really expecting anything lower than that uptrend line from April. Gold is next, and here I suppose it's almost too good to last, but actually I think in terms of the fallback that we've had, say it's 10% off the highs, not bad given how much we'd already gone up. We bounced off the top of the old channel there, which is usually why I keep these old lines in there, because they tend to be magnets for price actions. That was around 39.50, in fact 39.44, the low yesterday. Above that, looking for recent neckline resistance towards 41.60, even if we fall back again after that. We've also had an RSI 50 rebound, which as regular watchers of this video will know is or can be a continuation signal. Moving on to the stocks, and strong RNS from Artemis today. Shares up 10%, bouncing off the 50-day line there, 0.38. Obviously looking for a retest of the best levels, 0.6 pence by the end of next month, while we remain above the 50-day line. The only thing missing at the moment is the RSI being back above neutral 50, which hopefully will come in the next couple of sessions. Ceres Power is next, and the reason for inclusion is sort of boasting, really. It's the second target was hit there around £2.60. The first target there around 175, above 260, looking for the best case scenario target here up to £4. Not quite sure what will do that, but the shares seem to be absolutely on a tear at the moment, and especially after that unfull gap to the upside that we had on the 15th of October. So very strong indeed, with those sort of U-shaped, hook-shaped type of turnarounds there tend to be very strong, like a sort of cup and handle situation. RNS from Ecora today, and that has been enough to get the shares up to the top of that rising trend channel from March, which obviously drawn previously at 96 pence. Above that, we're looking for the upper parallel of that rising trend channel as high as £1.16, and we're looking for that as soon as the end of next month. You can see there's been a bounce at RSI 50 and then RSI 50 plus there. So that is the technical explanation for the rise on top of the way that support points have been well above a rising 50-day moving average. ATM or 80 Mile is next, and here you can see that as was suggested even before today's announcement, shares in a very steep rising trend channel, top of the channel there, heading for 1.2 pence. We're looking for that as soon as the end of next month, while we're above recent September resistance, around the 0.8 level. So ideally, we stay on the right side of 0.8. I suppose you could allow down to 0.7 on the floor of the channel if you want to give the shares a bit of leeway. Moving along to Golden Prospect, and here the situation is obviously interesting given the pullback in gold, and this is a lot of the shares have fallen back after that. But rising trend channel here, the floor of the channel there at 73 pence. While we're above that, hoping for at least a partial rebound up to the high 80s, even if we fall again back after that. The top of the channel there up to £1.15, but presumably that's a target for early 2026 rather than any time soon. Hemogenyx is next, and decent update and decent RNS. Shares only up 7%, so that's taken us above recent resistance around £10.35. Above that, we're looking for the next level up as high as £13.28 by the end of next month, backed by the RSI pushing back above neutral 50, and the 50-day moving average also rising sharply. Insig AI had a decent contract win today, and that's made the shares bounce above a rising 50-day line. We already had the unfull gap to the upside through the 50-day line at the end of last month, and this is effectively another continuation signal on the upside. Still looking for up to 45 pence, maybe as soon as the end of next month, although maybe one might have to say it's the end of the year rather than at the end of next month. But ideally, we stay above that 50-day line now at 26.5 pence. I think I covered Ingenta yesterday, and it's back again today. Here you can see that we're heading rapidly towards the top of that channel there from back in November as high as 101, and we're looking for that while we're above recent resistance at 84 pence. On an end-of-day close basis, you can see the RSI had a decent RSI 50 rebound, which has been a leading indicator on the upside, as has been the gaps higher that we've had today and yesterday for the shares. On to Kefi, where people may be scratching their heads and wondering why the shares are still not heading higher. They have actually found support at we're looking for 1.2 to 1.3 pence to be the support area, and that's basically what it's been. Above that band, looking for a relatively quick retest of the 2 pence zone by the end of next month. Obviously, that was this month's resistance. Mila is next, and here, another great performer. We've hit 2 targets so far, looking for the third one there at 2 3/4, and looking for that by the end of next month. We've had multiple RSI 50 bounces at 50 and above, and that is obviously steering the shares towards that particular 2 3/4 pence direction. Relatively excited by Valereum, the last stock of the day. Here we've got the shares up again. I think I covered them yesterday, but this nice sort of U-shaped, saucer-shaped turnaround, looking bullish and looking for 8 pence as the target for the end of the next month. Maybe the best case now would be up to 10 pence in the 200-day line. And nothing on the chart there suggests that we won't be able to get 10 pence by the end of November. It looks like a good setup indeed. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.